There we go, gentlemen. Senate poised to pass bill that could ban TikTok.
And TikTok is included in a supplemental foreign aid package to help Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan.
Why the fuck is the bill to ban TikTok having to do with Israel? That's like going to McDonald's and getting a combo meal of like a drink, a lawnmower, and a fleshlight. What the fuck? Why?
The House passed legislation earlier this year to force the sale of TikTok by its Chinese owner, a company called ByteDance. Under that bill, ByteDance would have 6 months to divest TikTok or face a ban in the U.S. Now that 6-month period's been extended to 9 months with a 3-month extension if a sale is underway. That was enough to win the support of Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell, chair of the powerful Senate Commerce Committee. TikTok opponents say the app gives the Chinese Communist Party access to American users' data. Some in Congress have even called TikTok a national security threat.
I understand. I think that's true. But like, again, how can this be true? But Riot, which is owned 100% by Tencent, which is a Chinese company that has an anti-cheat that has kernel level access to your PC, not included.
ByteDance denies giving any user data to the Chinese Communist government, and TikTok has spent millions on advertising and lobbying efforts to stop the legislation from passing. But opponents of the bill say it's unconstitutional by infringing on free speech rights and giving the president too much authority.
I kind of agree with them. I find it to be extremely dangerous that things are being removed that we can't see because of their, like, them being owned by a foreign power. Because I feel like that is like painting with such a broad brush that it's going to apply to so many different things. I think it's way too much. It's arbitrary. Yeah, it's arbitrary. That's the problem. Is that like, basically, like, my argument of why I think this is bad is that there is no principle behind it that can be applied to other similar situations that make sense. And that's what I think, like, is the difference between good and bad logic generally, is like, if you have good logic, you can apply that logic to other similar situations and it would make sense. And if you have bad logic, it can only exist inside of one situation and, you know, it's dubious at that.
Because every national security expert, intelligence, military, they will tell you that this is a spy balloon in your phone, like a Chinese spy balloon.
But why is it a spy balloon? Because if the reason why is that it allows you to have, you know, it can spy on you, there are other things that also are made by China. Half the arguments made against TikTok could be argued against Facebook, Snapchat, or any other app. Exactly. Yeah. I think this is so problematic.
Your phone.
We shouldn't give the president broad authority to declare foreign adversary countries and or then declare an app or a website under the control of foreign adversary country.
Yeah.
And that legislation is expected to get a vote at some point on Saturday. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
There it is. And so this is apparently happening. And Senate, oh my fucking God. Porn websites were better than this. Senate poised to pass bill, and I guess this happened just today. The Senate voted 80-19 to limit debate on the package. This is crazy. The Senate passed package also includes $95 billion in foreign aid divided between Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. $95 billion? Guys, that's a lot of money. Taiwan's a country? I don't know. How much social credit do you have? Yeah, but TikTok can't be controlled. It's out of reach for the U.S. Constitution, and that's the real issue. TikTok can't be controlled. So then you should ban every other website that's not made in the U.S., right? Like, that would be the logic for that? I mean, I think that's the logic, right? And this is what I'm saying, right? Is that this is why the argumentation is so bad. It's because every single time that you apply the argumentation to one factor, it doesn't make sense in any other instance. 4 hours ago, Senate advances Ukraine aid, Israel funding, and TikTok ban. That's like, what a what a fucking rotation there. Not all governments are the CCP though. Yeah, but like for example, like I would say, do I think that China is uniquely dangerous to the United States in a way that places in the Middle East and Russia are not? The answer to that, to me, in my opinion, is no. I think that all of those countries could be adversarial to us. China's huge, though? It is.
The Senate just advanced a $95 billion foreign aid package that has an amendment to force the sale of TikTok tucked inside.
How is this legal? Like, that's like, how are people, like, this is like, whenever I see something like this, I ask myself, why are people not rioting in front of the Capitol? Why are people not protesting right now and asking for a fucking immediate recall and a re-election for the people that are pushing it? Too lazy? Yeah, there's no drive-through for it. It's so why aren't you? Because you're not doing it. And that's the problem, isn't it? No, I understand the irony of what I'm saying.
So when will the full Senate vote on it? And will President Biden sign it with that TikTok amendment? Yeah. Joining us now, NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Noble. So first, explain to me why the TikTok ban is tucked inside of this foreign aid bill.
Why is that?
Well, this was a negotiation that took place in the House of Representatives as they...
Well, that basically explains it. It was a negotiation that took place. Oh. I see. Okay, yeah, that makes sense now.
We're debating this broader supplemental package,
yeah.
a $95 billion package that includes funding for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. And the House had already passed a bill that would effectively ban TikTok if the Chinese company ByteDance didn't sell it within 6 months. There were senators that were concerned about that length of time, thinking that it wasn't enough for ByteDance to fully divest the company in a reasonable amount of time. So they talked to senators about what they'd feel more comfortable with. They settled on this deal of a 9-month extension with the possibility of it moving to a year if President Biden okayed it as such.
A year? I mean, that's going to be President Trump. Let's be honest, brother.
Indicated to House members that they were okay with that. They ended up folding it into the supplemental package. It will now be voted on in one fell swoop here later tonight. And Katie, to answer your question, it does appear like it will be passed and signed into law.
You guarantee, like, if you go probably on like poll or some fucking like a board, there's probably somebody that looks at this and they're like, yeah, I knew Biden wasn't really in charge. It's like Obama calling the shots and like this guy just accidentally leaked the script. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, exactly.
So there are enough senators right now who appear poised to say yes to this. Any notable holdouts?
Yeah, I mean, they just passed a procedural step along the way to final passage, which gives us an indication where senators stand. It was passed overwhelmingly, I think somewhere in the range of 70 to 80 votes for senators. In most people that are opposed to this package, it's really not about the TikTok portion of it. It's because they're either concerned that the Israel aid...
yeah, that's crazy. It's like you have to choose, do you want TikTok and Israel, or do you want Palestine and no TikTok? Like... What? Why? It's mainly Ukraine. Yeah, or Ukraine. So, you don't want TikTok? Okay, so you want Ukraine, so you want NATO to fall, you want to have Russia take over Ukraine. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's how it works. I just, that's, like, how do you do this?
Is not conditioned, and that there's not enough humanitarian aid for Gaza, or they're opposed to the Ukraine part of it. We haven't heard any loud voices coming out specifically about TikTok itself. There have been some concerns raised about free speech, about intervening in business practices, things along those lines. But most senators feel comfortable with the idea that the way that this law has been written, that it will solve all those problems or all those concerns. TikTok obviously feels much differently. They've already told their...
It's a combo meal. Yeah, you have to get the combo. Do you want dead Palestinians in this social media app or dead Israelis in another social media app? Who do you want to die? Also, at the same time, do you like Twitter or Facebook more? This matters. This is crazy.
Employees in a company memo that they'll plan a lawsuit as soon as this bill becomes law.
Ryan, forgive me, I've been waiting in the Velvet Sea for the past few days. Tell me what's going on with Speaker Mike Johnson and whether he is going to hang on to the gavel.
Well, it's still definitely up in the air. We're not going to know for sure until next week, Katie, when the House comes back, because they're in recess right now. But he was certainly given a lifeline last night when the former President Donald Trump said in a radio interview that he thought he was doing a good job and that he's trying very hard. Certainly giving him the space that he needs with those conservative Republicans who view Donald Trump as their leader the cover that he needs. Now, it only takes a couple of Republicans to throw him overboard. The question is, will Democrats come to his rescue? Some have indicated that they will. It's still an open question, but for right now, Mike Johnson looks to be on relatively solid ground.
Oh, my God. The two parties are so far divided on the radical sides that there needs to be 4 parties. There should just be 3 parties, and you should put the 2 crazy groups of people in the same party together and just have it work itself out, you know?
When the news first
you have like the normal liberals and the normal conservatives, and then you have the nutballs all in their own party, and like, you know, they'll just kind of fizzle out eventually, right? Yeah, solved. Yeah, exactly. The asylum party. I like that. Oh my God, this is incredible. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. There we go, guys. TikTok might actually get banned. Think about all of the 12-year-olds. It's like, this is going to be their, like, you know, like they were talking about like their personal 9/11. This is going to be like their version of losing Vine. They're finally going to be able to like have a way to relate to millennials. It's like, yeah, now I know how you felt whenever they got rid of Vine. World War III might start over TikTok. Oh, that would be pretty funny. Well, not really, because everybody would die. But, you know, it would be funny, like, looking back on, like, 1,000 years later, right? Good, you want your freedom of speech ban? What the fuck is your problem? No, I think that there's a lot of people who... Most people, you have to understand that the concept of freedom of speech is really complicated, and it's hard to think about. And it's like, oh, like, freedom of speech, like, what is that? Like, what's going on here? Like, oh, geez... And so, oh, they even put out a video about this. Oh, God. There are millions of reasons to keep TikTok in the U.S.
My future on TikTok, I feel like looks really bright, looks really fast. I hope to continue to build more cars in the future, educate more people, get more women into drag racing, just really inspire the next generation of drag racers.
TikTok has really surpassed all my expectations in terms of connection and positivity and warmth.
Everyone's just sharing their family secrets and there's no gatekeeping. It's a community of love and compassion and collaboration, and I love it.
TikTok has allowed me and my family to share our livelihoods with all of y'all, from what we do on a daily basis here on our ranch to our businesses in town.
When somebody finds us on TikTok, they find beautiful stories that will uplift their spirits and make them laugh and know that there's still good happening in the world.
Man. I'm sure all the 12-year-olds that like this post are going to vote, right? Yeah, I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Paid actors, literally? Yeah, I guess they are. How can people trust a Chinese app? They're harvesting your information? I don't trust American apps. Like, I personally don't view, I don't view a lot of the, like, international business people that are controlling these massive companies as working in the interests of America intrinsically. I think that they only do so to the extent that it's financially beneficial for them. And I don't think that they have any, like, real sense of loyalty or like obligation to the United States, to the people in the United States, or to Western culture at all. So I agree with you, but I don't think that Chinese people are uniquely evil. I think that all of these people are. Mark Zuckerberg literally said that the people that were giving him their data were fucking idiots. He said it. And you know what? He was right. Do you think there are degrees of bad? Some governments are better than others? Yeah, there are degrees of bad, but I don't think there's as many degrees of freedom of speech. And I think that's very important. And people being able to see things and not have the government block things from being seen. I feel like that's almost more important than anything else. It's been proved time and time again how the app promotes shitification. Sure, but I feel like any argument that you can make against TikTok can be made against Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. I don't think that's what I'm saying, right? The only unique wrinkle in this is that TikTok is owned by China indirectly. But there are also, again, Saudi Arabia has a vested, I think it's like 11% in Twitter. So this isn't unique to them at all. The CCP and the US are really learning from each other, for better or for worse. Yeah, exactly. But either way, I can talk about this for a long time, but it's not indirect. So ByteDance, this is my understanding, is that ByteDance is actually a Singaporean company, and that they are the ones who make TikTok, and then there is a company that owns ByteDance that is a Chinese company, and they own a majority share in ByteDance. And I forgot the actual name of the other company, I apologize. But there's actually a separate, TikTok isn't even in China. It's literally not in China. It's called Douyin or something like that in China. This you? Is this person tagging me on this? TikTok's contribution to right-wing extremism? I think this is so stupid. Let's talk about why this is stupid. So the reason why I think this is stupid, why would you tweet this to me? So is there a test for left-wing extremism? I bet there's not. The fact is that all extremism happens on social media. So, why are we acting like right-wing extremism is the only form of extremism? Of course there is. Because everybody's getting radicalized on social media. So, no, I'm not going to... And also, it's happening, dude, I don't know how many times, there's a YouTube short that's out, and I see a YouTube short, it gets recommended to me, and it's some guy...
There are 3 different things in this video. The first one is going to be how Blizzard is talking...
Okay, there's, this guy, and he's, he's, on a podcast, and he's yeah, I don't think women should vote. I don't think they should be able to do anything. And then they're playing, fucking, rap music behind him. And then, there's another clip of, I'm thinking, the guy from Reacher beating up another guy. And then at the end of it, it's a picture of, Andrew Tate driving a car. And then you look at the comments, and, every comment is, based, so true, repeal the 19th, get him out of there. Yeah, is TikTok special for this? No, I don't think they're special at all. I think that's normal. Every social media website has this bullshit. Yeah, bro, what are you doing?